Hello, Year 10A, and welcome to our final class before your test. So as you know, you will have your listening skills test tomorrow. So I just wanted to give a quick overview, look at some top tips to make sure that you're completely prepared, and then we're going to do our vocabulary quiz, so our last vocabulary quiz. Once we've gone through all of that, the rest of the class is yours for you to have a look, maybe read through your books, listen to some previous tracks, just to prepare yourself. So just so that you're ready for tomorrow, as we've already discussed, you're going to have 50 minutes to complete the listening test. So before you begin, when the recording starts, it's going to give you 5 minutes for you to actually familiarise yourself with the questions. So that means you can flick through, have a look at what kind of words they're using, have a look at what types of questions there are, and it's just about getting comfortable with the test. So you can remain calm and don't have to go straight into it. So the first 5 minutes, pens will be down and you just need to go in through that, through the notes. At the end, you will have 5 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet provided. So there's actually 40 questions in total. So 40 questions in total. So for instance, you can see here part 1, questions 1 through 7. So every question is worth 1 mark. It means that if they're asking you for 2 answers, you need to give 2 answers, otherwise you'll get no marks at all, even if you got 1 answer right. So be very careful about reading it. We'll talk about that in a bit further detail in just a moment. So as usual, all of your mobile and wireless devices must be turned off during the test. And as I said, so part 1, it'll go through questions 1 through 7. You'll listen to the recording once. And you'll make your answers, and then it will play that same recording a second time so that you can double check that you got the correct answer, or you might want to change your answer. Okay, so you get to listen to the tracks twice, which is really, really helpful. So I'm just going to go to some top tips. So you should have this document in front of you as well. So these are some handy hints about trying to pass your listening test. Number 1, understand your requirements. So what we've just discussed, how much time is there in the exam? How many questions? And how much time per question? Have I learned my vocabulary? So what words don't I understand? And the ones that I don't, I want to practice with my friend. So this afternoon, also later on today, if you've got some time, maybe jump up with one of your friends and you guys can practice your vocabulary together. Have I reviewed the book? So the topics are going to be based on things we've discussed throughout both semesters. So it's always good to have just a flick through, skim and scan through your book. Are you familiar with all of the topics? Note your limitations. So what language am I unsure of, and what words or topics might cause me to worry about them? So it might talk about, for instance, we've talked a lot about animals and their habitats, but maybe you're not quite sure about words like genomes or extinction. Okay, so have a think. What confuses me? What causes me stress? And really focus in on those. And here's the 4 top skill tests just to help you when you're in the exam itself. So test skill 1 is underline the main words of the question. This has really helped you focus, because you know those words or similar words are going to be said in the track. So those words or similar words are going to be said in the track. And that means you know, oh, here is the answer, or oh, the answer must be in that particular area. So make sure if you're sitting down, you have a pen, probably get yourself a coloured pen or a highlighter as well. I think there's still some pens on my desk. So if you do want to jump in and grab some highlighters off my desk today to use in the exam, that's absolutely fine. Test skill 2, understand what the question is asking. Most important thing, make sure you understand the question. Don't just read it quickly. The question is the thing that's going to give you the hint. Without a question, you can't get the right answer. So is it asking for numbers or statistics? Details or examples? Is it asking about missing things or what's not said? Or is it asking for 1 or 2 answers? So when you read, it'll give you a minute to actually read through each of the questions before the track plays. So during that time, get your coloured pen and slowly go over the question, read the question twice at least to make sure you really understand what is the possible answer, what does the question mean. Test skill 3 is a review question and answer when we're completing your answer sheet. So when you've got your original, your sheet that you've written on, and then your answer sheet, just double check, read through. Does that answer actually make sense? If you think that it doesn't, then it's another opportunity for you to make a correction or to get the right answer. So take a breather, remain calm when you're transferring your answers across. And again, read over the question, read the answer. Do they seem to make sense? If not, what could the answer be? So it's the last opportunity for you to make some changes. And finally, double check the right answer is in the right box. I know that's really silly, but so many times people have put the answer to question 15 in the box for question 16, and I can't mark that as correct or incorrect, or I have to mark that as incorrect because it's in the wrong box, okay? So you need to double check that your answer is in the right box. So don't try and complete the answer sheet at the end really quickly. Slow down, take your time, double check, review, breathe. I'm terribly sorry, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so I must sound like a bit sick. And then finally, ensure that your teacher can read your answers. Make sure that it's clear whether you've got written a B or a D, that you've clearly written the actual word properly, okay? I do have some trouble reading some people's terrible writing. Sorry, excuse me. Okay. So now we're going to move across. Sorry, before I do that, I would suggest that you go over this again. Just write down what you think you could do to prepare yourself for all of these things. Things that you could practice, that you could get with a friend and help one another, that you could practice your vocabulary, that you need to make sure you get a pen, everything like that, okay? Right. So the last thing that we're going to do today is the final vocabulary test. So this is your listening vocabulary, the last test. I know, sorry, I've written it as quiz 2. I'll just change that name. Quiz final, okay. So as usual, please get your pen out. Make sure that your thesaurus, dictionaries, everything is off your table, and that you're not cheating. It's really about you making sure that you know this information. Anything that you get wrong, you want to review. And make sure that you can get right in the future. So as usual, I go through and read everything through. You see if you can complete the answers. If you need extra time, press pause on the video press pause on the video, complete it, and then press play again. Then we're going to swap your documents and go through the answers. Please listen to how I'm pronouncing these words. So because this is a listening test, you need to be able to understand how these words are said. So for part 1, we've got fossilized, vanish, species, extinction, and widespread. Sadly, the earth constantly loses different of animals too. This can be due to environmental events or human behaviour. However, we are lucky in that we can discover animals that no longer live because their bones have been. This means they've turned to stone and can be discovered. We find fossils all over the world. It also means that these animals never really, we can see that they existed and learn about them. So remember, either before or after the sentence blank, it will probably give you a hint as to which word is the correct word. So I'll give you a minute to complete that and then we'll move on. Okay, so we're just going to move on to the next section. As I said, if you need a bit more time, just press pause, that's absolutely fine. Right, match the word to the definition. We're going to look at the following words: abroad, cultural, apartment, application, preferences, permission, and dormitory. And the definitions we have, as usual, just draw a line to which one would be correct. Large bedroom for a number of people. The things I would like to do are my. Giving someone the okay to do something, or to ask someone if you can do something. Smallish accommodation for one or more people. In or to a foreign country. Formal request to be allowed entry or to do a thing. Ideas, customs, and food of a society. As usual, I'll give you another minute just to review. Okay, and let's go down to the last one. And here we're listening to the words again. Hybrid, mass-produced, aerodynamic, percentage, mileage, plug-in, and regenerative. A lizard can grow its tail back. Its tail is, it can drive a long way on very little fuel. It has great. It's such a popular thing. They have made lots of them. So they are. The of students passing exams have increased because they've studied hard. It's important that rocket ships are because they need to move quickly through the atmosphere to get to the moon. When you put two things together, you make something new. This is called my laptop, the battery has died again. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to see if you can match the sentence to the word. Okay, if you need a little bit extra time, that's fine, just press pause on the video. If you now can please pass your sheet to the person next to you, in front of you, behind you, whatever may be the case, and pass the person your sheet. And we're going to go through and mark the answers. Okay. Sadly, the Earth constantly loses different species of animals to extinction. So there's a lot of different animals in the world that we lose to extinction. This can be due to environmental events or human behaviour. However, we are lucky in that we can still discover animals that no longer live because their bones have been fossilised. So fossilised. And you can see in the next sentence, this means they've turned to stone. So it actually gives a definition of fossilised after where the question is, okay? So remember when you're doing your listening test, if you've missed the word, you're not sure, we use context. So the words around a word. This means they've turned to stone and can be discovered. This is widespread. Widespread. So we find fossils all over the world. So again, widespread, all over the world. This is the definition of that word. Again, so we used context. And finally, it also means that these animals never really vanish. Vanish meaning to disappear. So hopefully you got 5 out of all of that. There we go. All right, so now we're going to match the word to the definition. Large bedroom for a number of people is a dormitory, and some of you guys probably live in a dormitory at the moment. The things I'd like to do are my preferences. So my preferences, or the things that you like to eat, or the class that you want to study, it's preferences. Giving someone the okay to do something, or to ask someone if they can do something, is to give them or to ask for permission, okay? To give something or to ask for permission. Smallest accommodation for 1 or more people, so smallish, not smallest, smallish, that would be an apartment. Unless you're rich, you might have a really big apartment. Okay, and in or to a foreign country means that you have gone abroad. A formal request to be allowed entry or to do a thing means that you need to submit an application. So to apply for something is an application. Finally, the ideas, customs and food of a society all fall into culture and cultural, okay? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you should get a mark out of 7 for that one. Hopefully 7 out of 7. Right, a lizard can grow its tail back. Its tail is regenerative. So it's regenerative. It can regenerate. If you're talking about a battery, it might mean that it can power itself up again. So it regenerates by itself. It can drive a long way on very little fuel. It means it has great mileage. So great mileage, it means it can go a long way on a little bit of fuel, which is a really good thing. You want that in that car. It's such a popular thing, they have made lots of them, so they are mass produced. So mass produced, right? The of students passing exams have increased because they've studied hard, means the percentage. So the percentage of students has increased because they, like 10A, have studied very hard. It's important that rocket ships are, excuse me, because they need to move quickly through the atmosphere to get to the moon. Aerodynamic, so it means that they're nice and smooth. So if you think about a rocket ship, do you know what? I'm not going to draw that. I can sense bad things happening. But you'll see that it's nice and smooth, which means that the air can flow nice and evenly along that. I'm sure Mayuri can explain that in a lot better detail. Okay, so aerodynamic falls over here. When you put 2 things together, you make something new. This is called a hybrid. Hybrid. Just putting 2 things together or 3 things and making something different using that. So finally, I need to plug in my laptop because the battery, so plug in so I can recharge it. And you should have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of that one as well. So we've got 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So our final score out of 19. Please send me a message to say how much you got out of 19, okay? You don't have to send a photo of this, just a message to say that you got 19 out of 19 or 12 out of 19. Any words that you do not know, make sure you learn them before tomorrow. Review those top tips that I've given you, and I will see you in the next class. Thank you.